Hi, I'm Nick, and welcome to the Fusion Space for my 500 subscriber special. Thank you so much to the 500 people who made this possible. Your support has encouraged me to keep making content and keep trying to improve it. I'll get right to the point for the looky-loos. I'll be showcasing 3 fan edits I've made over the years, all available to watch online or download for free on my Google Drive. My show is called Storytime, and I adapt great old comics with voice acting and narration to abridge the non-essential parts of the stories, but it's not the only kind of storytelling I focus on, and that's what this is about. So if you're a fan of my comics adaptations, I hope you'll enjoy these other stories I've reshaped. And if this is your first time seeing me, I hope you'll also click on my channel and see if any of my comics adaptations appeal to you. That's all I ask. First up, I'll briefly talk about my first ever fan edit, Memento, in chronological order. It's exactly what it says on the label. I made it mostly to teach myself the editing software. I knew what I wanted the end product to look like, so I just reordered the scenes, putting all the black and white ones together, and then flipping the order of the color scenes. I had to reverse one sequence that ran backwards in the original, but that was about it. The movie plays much differently, more like a dark comedy, as Leonard's friend Teddy just calls him on the phone all day to mess with him for his own amusement before it's time to pick him up for the murder and the color film begins. You see more clearly the effect Leonard has on the world and how it treats him in kind, as well as the film being about Teddy's fate more than anything else, as that is now the new ending, and you can see how he earned his comeuppance more clearly. It's an interesting experiment, though not a better film than the original, of course. Chris Nolan is a master of the craft. It's the one fan edit I didn't do with the intent of improving the original. And that is very much not the case with my second fan edit, V for Vendetta. I love the book. It was one of the first Alan Moore works I ever read, and while the movie left a lot of its headier discussion topics out, I did feel the film captured a lot of what made the book work. But then the studio had to Hollywoodize it, inserting a needless virus subplot and an even more needless love story between V and Evie. Their relationship in the book was much closer to father and daughter. There's never even a hint of romance. And I feel it colors all of V's actions while running Evie's imprisonment illusion badly and compromises his motives. V wanted nothing for himself. He had been transformed into a monster by the state, and his downfall was all he strove for the good of the innocent, but more so to punish the guilty. V is an anti-hero, and the film gave him goofy lines and jokes and funny moments that all had to be cut out to reform him closer to his true character. V is a pretentious jerk. He's not a likable guy, and he's not meant to be. He is the monster that world deserves. Brilliant, cunning, ruthless, and ultimately doomed. He knows his purpose is merely to tear down the power structure, but he has nothing to offer the new world to be built, and certainly never hoped for a romance with Evie, whom he only wanted to protect and educate, and then to free, and to pass his shadow gallery and roll down after his own passing. So in addition to the character work, I reordered the events and order of the kills to match the comic, and removed the virus plot, which I never understood why they included to begin with. I suppose to help explain how the fascist takeover happened in the first place? Bad decisions all over that movie, but I fixed most of them, and I think the resulting work is a leaner and more focused story that more closely fulfills the intent of the comic. Probably the best of this lot if I'm being honest, so check that out first if you like. And finally, my most recent work, my fan edit of Ghostbusters 2016. Why the hell would I do this, you might be asking? Because it's a Ghostbusters movie, that's why. And because really the biggest thing wrong with it was all the awful attempts at comedy, the way the movie stops the plot every few minutes so the cast can do improv lines. All of that nonsense is cut, and I only left a few subtle jokes, mostly scripted, and they sort of work without the rest bogging the film down. I also scrubbed all reference to the original cast and all the painfully bad cameos. It's much easier to accept this alternate universe if it's not reminding you of a better film, outside of the brand stuff like the logo, the car, the gear, the name, and all that. What remains is a faster paced action movie about building the tech and busting ghosts with characters who feel like real people instead of cartoons. The film itself has a much different tone now as well. There are tense and dramatic scenes not ruined by badly placed jokes. The film isn't constantly and desperately trying to get you to like it. I did not care for the characters in the theatrical cut, but I genuinely liked the versions of the characters that I made. So if you hated Ghostbusters 2016, this cut is for you. It's intended to heal the scars for all the Ghostbusters fans who watched it, and to replace those memories with this version, which may not be a good movie, but I can confidently say it is no longer a bad movie. And I consider that a goddamn miracle. This one was an experiment for me as well. I always thought there was a decent Ghostbusters movie hidden in the cut. There were a lot of people who tried their hardest to make a sequel deserving of the brand, and their work was overshadowed by failed comedy from the leads, which garnered some intense dislike from many people. I know I might sound like a crazy person, but just watch a few minutes. Watch the opening scene with all that crap removed, and see what I mean. It feels like an entirely different movie. So that's it for the ones I have up on my Google Drive now. Links are in the description, or you can find me on Facebook, and I have them all pinned on my page as well. I used to be part of a fan editing collective back in the 2000s called My Spleen, but I haven't found anything like that in the modern era. So if you know of a good place to share these, please feel free to do so. I made them for the world, so the more they get out there, the happier I'll be. I do plan to make a few more in the future, though, as a side project to my storytime episodes. My next idea is to cut as much of the human plot and characters as I can out of the first Transformers movie, and see if I can't focus the film more on the titular robots, and I might keep going with that series. I also have this crazy idea that there's a half-decent alien invasion movie hidden in pixels if we basically remove Adam Sandler from the film as much as possible. Well, time to wrap this up, so thanks again to all my 500 subscribers. I hope you enjoy my side projects here, and I have many good things planned for the future. I've been working on Reign of the Superman in the background, so that will be up to follow my Death of Superman and Funeral for a Friend episode before too long. And I will also do Batman Prodigal, Dick Grayson's turn filling in for Batman, which followed the Nightfall saga after Night's End. It's not a huge chapter, but there's a bit more of that story to tell, and it remains my most popular series. Also, more Green Lantern stories from both Hal and Kyle, and very possibly Jon Stewart's book Mosaic, one of the weirdest, most artistically unique, and best Green Lantern books ever written, and all but unknown now. There's plenty more comics to come, so stay tuned, and as always, thanks for watching.